For today's cup of coffee, I have something not aliens, because I think after this past week, all of us are kind of worn out with the aliens. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So, it's been a hell of a week. It's been like 2 years comprised into a week. So we're going to do a What the Fuck file. This is by Harry Thompson, June 8th of 2023, and is from Daily Star. And I had to do quite a bit of editing, and it's like, Mr. Thompson, honey, I know that you may have tried, but your writing style lacking. So if I run into a sentence that makes absolutely no sense, that's probably Mr. Thompson on that. And he writes, a dog walker was left in a serious condition after he was attacked by cows on a country estate, leaving the aristocratic landowner with a hefty bill. Sir Charles Hobhouse, 60, will have to pay out £15,000 after acknowledging a pair of health and safety failings on his Monkton Farley, Wiltshire estate. And God love y'all that have names like that, because there's no way that And a court heard how a herd of 17 cattle and 18 calves trampled on dog walkers twice. The first incident on June 5th of 2021 left a woman with a fractured shoulder and quite possibly broken ribs. Meanwhile, the woman's husband, who is said to suffer from PTSD from his time in the military, said that the condition had gotten worse since the attack, which he described as, quote, frenzied and intense, end quote. 2 months later, another incident left a different dog walker with a snapped vertebra. This victim became cornered and said they were genuinely concerned they would have been killed. Sir Hobhouse was told on June 8th of 2023 to pay the sum plus £8,000 in cost at Bristol Crown Court. The court determined that Sir Hobhouse had not made adequate efforts to prevent people who crossed his land from being attacked by his cattle. Michael Booley, Joanne Booley, and Josiane Gauld were the victims of the June 5th, 2021 attack. Mrs. Booley was thrown in the air and then trampled by the cows before they were fought off by Mrs. Gauld using a backpack. Prosecutor Alistair Haggerty told the court that following the attack, the health and safety executive visited Sir Hobhouse's estate, and Hobhouse was told, quote, you need to treat the herd involved in the incident as aggressive and must take all reasonable precautions, end quote. God love y'all over in the UK. Here in America, that is not how that would have been worded in the least. However, on August the 21st, 2021, the herd attacked builder James Johnson, leaving him with several injuries following his 6 a.m. dog walk. Johnson was trampled and chased by the cattle, but managed to run to a tree where he was able to reach the lowest branch, but the branch broke and left him encircled by the herd. He hit one of the cows and found a gap between the others and escaped the field via a stile. He collapsed, and at this part I didn't understand. He collapsed when a passing motorist called an ambulance. So that I don't know whether he broke the stile he was climbing over and then passed out. I don't know. I was confused, so interpret that as you will. And he claims he suffers nightmares and memory loss after the incident, where he also received a concussion, a cut to his head, 2 dislocated shoulders, 3 broken ribs, and 3 snapped vertebrae. I'd say some of those injuries were probably where the branch broke with him. I'm just guessing on that. Malcolm Galloway, Hobhouse's attorney, told the court that his client, quote, takes responsibility for what happens in the estate, end quote, but he also added that his client had not made the decision to move the cattle into another field. Galloway stated, quote, "Plainly he, Hobhouse, has shown remorse. He has taken personally what has happened. This is why I start with a genuine apology to those people who did nothing wrong but walk in the countryside," end quote. Mr. Justice Saini said, quote, "As a person with overall responsibility, the law requires you to properly assess the risk posed by the cattle and calves at foot near public pathways. You accept by your admissions that you failed to put in protective and preventative measures to mitigate the risk," end quote. And one can assume that that was the judge that made that last statement. So, if you all have never been around cattle, because I'm sure we have people that live in urban environments, they're not docile. They really are not. They can appear passive, but that is not. You do not want to be trampled by a cow, or especially a herd of cows. But apparently, this must have been a public lane that went across the Hobhouse's estate. Don't know why he didn't have that fenced off. Here in this area, it would have been required that you had some kind of fencing to prevent the animals. That, or if somebody was crossing your land, that's trespassing, without permission. And then usually the owner is not held accountable. But laws vary from region to region. Yeah. I know an absolute perfect fix for this, and it's called barbecue. Large barbecue. If you've had experiences with paranormal or supernatural encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, killer cows that need to be killed and barbecued, send me an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. And I always enjoy reading your comments. I really do. And like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Link to the article will also be in the description box. Oh, this week's just about over, folks. Just about over. Know that you are very loved. We've almost made it through. We'll make it through lots of other ones. Lord willing, we'll see you on the next cup. Bye.